This video is an important truth about theology because there's a lot of bad theology that gets passed around in the world and in Christianity. Particularly, I want to make 3 or 4 points. Particularly, people will say, well, God is in control, don't worry. And you have to understand the difference between God being in control ultimately and God being in control right now. Because if God is in control right now, then we all got a few bones to pick with him because he ain't doing a very good job. But he's not completely in control right now, but he is ultimately in control. Ultimately, he's got this whole thing and he's going to wrap it all up. I love it in the Bible. It says he has the power to subject all things to his will, and he will. Ultimately, eventually. So, and the second point, well, actually, no. The overall point I'm making with that first point and the next 2 points is that your theology must lead you to trust him. It absolutely must. Okay, that's why I mentioned that first point, and I'm going to mention the next 2, because if your theology, whatever you're believing about God, doesn't lead you to trust him, then it can't lead you to the fulfillment of the first and greatest commandment all through the Bible, which is to be in love with him. Because it is literally impossible to love someone that you can't trust. Well, it is literally impossible to be in love with someone that you can't trust. You can act in love towards people that you don't trust, but you cannot be in love and have sweet, loving fellowship with someone that you do not trust. It's impossible. Never will happen. So, whatever theology you're believing must lead you to trust him. It absolutely must. And 3 examples, including the one I just gave, that are going to illustrate bad theology that does not lead you to trust him, okay? The first point I made, when you believe that God is in control now of all the bad stuff in the world, that destroys trust in God. So you must not believe that. But you can believe that he's ultimately in control, and ultimately he's going to come and whoop some ass, if need be, and of course mostly show a lot of love and healing and clean this whole place up, right? So, first point. Second point is people will say things such as Job, before he really knew God, before the end of the book, when he actually met God, he will say things that often gets quoted as the word of God, but it's not, such as, should we accept good from the Lord and not evil? Okay. And that infers and that implies that, well, God sends us good things and God sends us evil things. No, that is incorrect theology. Okay? Job had to learn that. He was rebuked, and so were his 3 friends. Well, mostly his 3 friends were rebuked, but he was certainly corrected for not knowing God correctly and who God was. After that, I guarantee that statement never came out of Job's mouth again. Okay? You cannot believe that God sends you evil, or it destroys trust, and you cannot fulfill the first and greatest commandment. Okay? And the third point is there are those along those lines who will actually say things like, well, God actually literally creates evil, which is completely ludicrous, because that one truly destroys your trust, and it's impossible to have a loving relationship with God after that if he creates evil, okay? So the one before that was just that, well, God sends us all these bad things, right? So if you believe that God sends you all the bad things in life to like build your character or karma, or you deserve it or something, trust is gone out the window, and so is your love, right? I'm always preaching to all of us. I'm not judging. I'm just saying this is critical truth we must know. We must understand that any theology we adopt must cause us to trust God, or it must be abandoned. Thank you. Have a nice day.